Hey, this is Derica Fomasili, and welcome to the Happiness Recipe Summit, where top experts are revealing their secret ingredients so you can create your own recipe for happiness. And today's vital ingredient is how to get unstuck and pursue your passion. Let's digest that a little bit. First, how to get unstuck. I think this is such an important topic because it's probably one of the biggest happiness thieves. When we're feeling stuck, we feel lethargic and depressed and hopeless and confused and lost. Like, it's such the opposite of happiness. And so I'm very excited about this topic because we have an expert here that's going to speak about how to get out of that stagnant energy, how to get unstuck. But not just that, then pursue your passion. Because that's happiness, right? That's when we're most happy, is when we're flowing in our creativity. And I know some of you might be thinking, that's great. Or someone else may be thinking, I don't even know my passion. Don't fret, because she's also going to take you through finding that passion, taking you through some very creative outlets and helping you define and see what that passion is and then pursue it. So I hope you guys are just as excited as I am. I'm going to go right into her lovely bio. This is Leslie Hamp. She works with women 50-ish and older who have had a lot of success but are ready for something different. And they're not sure what that means. Kind of like what we just talked about, right? Her workshops and retreats offer a creative incubator for soulful exploration and aha moments that guide the next steps. Beautiful. Leslie holds a Master of Arts in Mass Communication and is a Master Life Coach, licensed Passion Project Facilitator, certified journal to the Self-Instructor. Ooh, that one's, we're going to talk about that one. That one's so cool. An author of Create the Life You Crave and its companion, Beautiful Journal, and the Pocket Inspiration Cards. Welcome, Leslie Hamp.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited, and wow, kudos to you for pulling together this amazing summit.
Thank you so much. You're that secret sauce that's gonna put it all together. I love it. Let's jump right on in this, Leslie. Let's get to know you more. Can you share a little bit more about you and how you became an author, creative catalyst, and passion facilitator?
Oh, yes, I would love to. So, people often ask me about my title, Creative Catalyst, and that came directly from my clients. So, way back in 1997, I started a public relations business, and my clients would always say, "Here comes the creative catalyst." And I thought it was interesting, and they were describing the creativity and energy and passion that I was bringing to the projects, and they were feeling it. And then when I started coaching entrepreneurs in 2004, they started saying the same thing. So, hey, if you keep hearing it, that is an indication that that's who you are. And so I claim that as my title, and I love it. I've had it for, since probably about 2005, I adopted it.
Wow, beautiful. I've never heard of that title, but it makes so much sense. Like when you hear it, you're like, oh yeah, like I can visually see that title.
Yeah, and that's the energy that I bring to my workshops, my coaching, my keynotes is that creative energy. And I'm kind of there to spark people, to help them dig deeper and explore what's important to them, what's working, what's not, what to amp up, what to release. So
Mm,
it's a wonderful title, and it's a wonderful, humbling opportunity to work with people in this way.
absolutely. Tell me a little bit more. I'm feeling the audience wants to know a little bit more about Leslie because I feel I feel a bigger journey. Like I feel like did something lead you to this moment?
Oh, yes. I would say 9/11 was a
Mm.
big catalyst for me. So I was in public relations, things were flowing. I had my business. I was really good at my craft, but I wasn't as good at balancing all of it. So one project overlapped another, and I was feeling exhausted. And then 9/11 happened, and it really got me to reassess where am I going? What am I supposed to be doing? My energy was really low. And so I discovered I hired a coach, and it was new at that time. And I was so fired up with that journey that I went through coach certification. So I went to Coach U. It was way back, and everything was virtual and online and on the telephone. And then I went through guerrilla marketing coaching with Jay Conrad Levinson and Mitch Meyerson. Wonderful opportunity that exposed me to an international audience. And and then I went through Journal to the Self certification. So those were my passions, and they naturally came forward. I wanted to learn the stories of other people to help them define what was the new story that wanted to emerge. And I ended up working with entrepreneurs most of my career because that's who I am, and I understand what they were going through. And typically I worked with solopreneurs. So um, I would learn something and then I would teach it or coach people around it because I knew what I was experiencing, they were experiencing. So it led me to publishing a book, and I was with my graphic designer who had become a friend. She does all my graphics and still does, and she wanted to get into book publishing. Now this was about 2009, and her name's Roz Nelson. She's at littlebigbayshop.com, and I just love her. So we were brainstorming over breakfast, and she said, hey, I want to get into book publishing. Do you have something that we could turn into a book? And I had created a 90-day program for my clients to help them with a more whole life approach and gain better balance and define what was giving them energy, what was taking it away. And so I said, sure, you can use this. At that time, it was called Transform Your Life. And so we started with that. And then it's a 90-day program. So we had 12 chapters, action steps for each week. And then there's a structure for each week. There's an inspirational story about women and men who shifted in amazing ways. And then there's a lesson, a life lesson around a life-altering behavior. So there's a lot in the book. When I look at it now, I think, oh my gosh, we really put a lot in this. But I also talk to people who have the book and my clients, and they continually go back to it. Mm. So that was an awesome experience. And it was published on I remember the day very well, April 13th, 2010. It was the day before my dad passed. Now, this was quite a bittersweet moment, as you can imagine, because he was my editor and he got to see it, which was delightful. But we were going through his transition. And so, as you can imagine, I was in a bit of grief. My siblings and I sold my parents' home. My husband and I sold our home of 30 years. And so by the time that I got into this, we were renting at the time because we knew we were going to be moving. And we were on Lake Superior. So I was sitting in my living room looking at that gorgeous big body of water. And it was so soothing for me. But I was exhausted. I didn't think I would ever find happiness again. And worse yet, this book was on my table, and I felt like a hypocrite. I didn't have the life that I wanted. So I was stuck. Talking about being stuck, I was stuck, and I didn't want to be there. It wasn't who I was. So I started following my own program, and little by little, I found my way back to clarity and passion. And I remember going to an art opening and I laughed. I laughed out loud, and I noted it to myself. I mean, I was with a friend and I said, oh my gosh, I just laughed. Because honestly, I never thought that would happen again. So that was the power of following my own advice. And so day by day, I got back to my clarity and back to my passion. And I'll say my whole career was very creative, but my creativity was screaming to come out in a different way. And so I started making these, what I call pocket inspiration cards. So they have a word on them, and then they have, I just collaged. And then on the back, I have a bit of guidance for people. So this one is all about happiness. And there's a dolphin, and dolphins represent happiness. And the guidance, can I share that with you?
Yes, yes, please.
Okay, the guidance is it's time to make happiness waves. Where are you flowing or slowing boundless love, joy, and happiness? Explore, nurture, and celebrate all that's bringing you happiness and joy, something you deserve every day of your life. How can you more fully dive into the feeling of happiness? So I created these initially just for me to express that creativity, but then I started using them in my keynotes, and I will share some more with you today. And then people started asking me for them because they wanted the guidance and they wanted to learn how to make their own. So that's what passion does. It kind of leads us, if we follow it, not knowing where it's going to lead. Often the path shows its way.
Absolutely. And your story just defined all of that. I could feel like a lot of us and even myself where we could relate to those moments, where we have these we're thinking we're doing pretty good sometimes, we oftentimes we are. We're doing really good. We're pursuing a passion. We're just feeling good, not feeling stuck. And then something happens. Life changes, and 2020 has been a big one of those waves for us, right? A lot has changed amongst us, and so now I think that's where a lot of us are pivoting into now, that feeling stuck. And so whether it's a loved one passing away, we lose our jobs, we're isolated, we're homeschooling now, whatever it is, we're like, okay, what now? Right? Where do we go? We're kind of in that hopeless feeling. But hearing your story on how I think the breadcrumbs, right? One thing just led, whether it was the sitting by the lake or some moments like right here, right now, watching this video where you just get that aha moment, and all of a sudden you're unstuck. And we'll share with you steps. I know she has a plethora of information on exactly how to do this, get from unstuck into pursuing. But that story was it. Like your story is all of us. That's such a beautiful story.
Yes, we all experience those same feelings and
Yeah.
feeling, how am I going to get out of this? And here I was a coach. I was working with people that helped them get unstuck. So I really had to walk my talk and and experience the power of my own program that
Yep.
I gave to my friend because she wanted to learn to write how to publish a book.
And
So
then
that
bam,
was
you're living it.
divine intervention, I think.
It was. It was so perfect. You had to do this, had to go through it step by step for all of the many, many, many souls that you've transformed with this book. So you did it firsthand. I love that. Leslie, can we talk about feeling stuck and what's happening to us emotionally and physically? Like we talked about a little bit, but can you dive in to what is happening to us when we're feeling stuck?
Yeah, I think emotionally and physically, when emotionally you're lethargic. You described it very well at the beginning. You're just not able to get into action around something meaningful. So I described, I'm a positive, outgoing person, and I was sitting in my chair looking at Lake Superior for hours, literally. So, you're lethargic, you have the hopeless feeling, you don't know what the next step is or where to go. And so often you don't take the next step. And so it becomes this perpetual vicious cycle. And it's not, it's not comfortable.
Mm-mm.
And often that's where my clients are when they come to me is they're stuck. They have a dream, but they're not fulfilling it, or they've typically been successful and they're ready for something different, but they don't know what that is. So
Mm.
that's that stuck energy, and
Yeah.
there are some simple ways, simple yet very powerful ways to move it.
Okay. And you can feel so emotionally, we're feeling all the negative vibes. We're just all of them, right? I mean, and it varies. I remember feeling stuck myself, um, and experiencing the whole ladder. You know, you can feel depressed, you can feel just bored, you can feel, I mean, so many different, and it's all bad. They're all just bad emotions, right?
That law of attraction, you just keep pulling more of that same. You're aligned with that vibe, and
Yeah.
most of us don't want to be aligned with that vibe.
Mm-mm, no. So I think we can all can relate that at different points when we were stuck, we felt from deep major depression, that deep sadness to just like the, just that mundane, stagnant kind of feeling and all in between.
Going through the emotions, but not feeling emotions, you know.
Yeah.
Maybe maybe you're stuck because you are in a career that you thought was expected of you. Maybe your parents thought you were should be an attorney or a doctor, whatever. Um, maybe that's really wasn't your soul calling. Maybe you're in a corporate job climbing the ladder and you have to stay there for the money. Maybe you want the status. Maybe um, there are small pieces of you that are feeling fulfilled, but mostly it's misalignment and fear of shifting into something different. Like, what do I do now? I'm here. I'm stuck here for my career. So that can happen to people as well.
Oh, that's so, you're hitting just a nail on the head with that. So many of us pursue things what even at the time maybe we felt was right, and then a decade goes on, lots of time, and we've changed, but the environment hasn't, right? So we feel that void.
Yes, and my feeling is all of our experiences are so valuable because we learn from them and we grow from them, and we get to the point where our soul is just wanting more. And it's like that inner GPS knocking on your door telling you I want something different. So if we learn to listen to those whispers, then can really point us into our passion direction.
Ooh, good. Good, good,
And
good.
as you said, when you're aligned with your passion, you just flow. I mean, I'm making these cards, and then I start sharing them with clients. Then it becomes teaching people to do them, and it's always in that high vibration. Yet we're also doing that deep dive into our soul and what wants to be expressed. This
Mm.
I really learned when I started journaling, and like I was trained through the Therapeutic Writing Institute in Denver, and I know so many techniques. And what happens is you go deep internally as you're processing, and there's simple, quick exercises. One I want to share with you is called the 5 minute sprint. And so I've shared this with so many people who don't like to write. And all it is centering yourself, a few deep breaths, and then asking the question, what's going on? What's going on right now? And your journal is open, your page is dated with today's date, and then you start when you're ready, after you're breathing and contemplating for just a few breaths, then you start writing 5 minutes as fast as you can, whatever wants to come out. And there's no editing, no worries about grammar, punctuation, spelling. Just keep writing. And if you get stuck, go back to the prompt. What's going on? what's going on, and then you'll get back in the flow. Your timer goes off at 5 minutes. You go back, reread what you've written, and then you give yourself some feedback, starting with the prompt. As I read this, I notice, and then just a few sentences of what you notice. This takes you deep into your soul purpose and passion. You will notice over time what's working, what's not,
Yeah.
what to move up, what to release. It's so powerful. So I love that I've been able to share that with so many people. And of course, I've learned so many other techniques through the Therapeutic Writing Institute, including I'll grab one of my journals, including what's called visual journaling. So here's one of my journals, and I just collaged. But as I was doing this, I used stenciled. I used handmade papers. Love hearts. I always have hearts on everything that I do. But it became an affirmation page, and at the end, I put um, mindful heart. And
Mm.
so after spending probably 45 minutes on this, I was processing deeper what was going on, and it was reminding me to be mindful, to mind my energy.
Wow. I love this because it's simple but powerful, like you said before, right? And this really leads into the question I was going to ask, like, why do so many of us suffer from being stuck, right? From not pursuing our passion or not even knowing it. But when you started speaking on this technique, I realized, well, one of the reasons is because we don't do this. We were not taught this. It's not really the norm, right? We don't usually take that mindful moment to go in and ask our infinite wisdom, our soul, whatever we call this, just who we are. And would you say it's because we're like busy, 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 we're going, whatever it is?
Absolutely. We are doing, doing, doing rather than being.
Mm.
And we've all been there. So, in my book, I outlined 3 really simple steps to help you get in touch with where you're at. And I call it the 20-20-20 Foundation. So the first step is 20 minutes of moving your body. And the whole idea with all of these is to shake up the energy and notice what's giving you energy, what's taking it away. So I recommend walking by yourself without a podcast or music. You're just focusing on your breathing, that deep oxygenating breath and rhythmic movement, moving your arms as you walk. Uh, Often people start with 20 minutes and they go up to an hour, but 20 minutes is effective. So as you're moving your body, you're moving your energy, and you're going to get some of those soul messages. You've probably done this yourself where you have some problem that you're trying to resolve and you go for a walk and there's the answer. You find it.
Yep.
So it's the same concept. So I would encourage people, take this action step, put that 20 minutes on your calendar and go for a walk. I mean, it's just good for your body, mind, and spirit. We need soul nourishing health.
Yes.
So this is really good. The second prong to this is clearing your clutter. Now, we have clutter everywhere. We're busy people. So most of us accumulate. The other day I cleaned my office here. I wanted everything to be fresh and open for the interview. And what happens is we are releasing energy that's not serving us. So you can find clutter, projects that are unfinished, a chaotic desk or kitchen space, car, files, emails. It goes on and on. And also, whatever is not serving you in the moment. So I remember picking up one of my previous art um, exercises, and I didn't need it anymore. So I let it go. So what happens when you let go of clutter is you open up your energy, you gain clarity, you sleep better. I mean, you lighten up. We've all done spring cleaning and know how that feels. So it's the same kind of energy where you're moving your energy. And there are lots of great books out. The one that I have really got turned on with is called Clear Your Clutter with Feng Shui, and it's with Karen Kingston. So the whole idea, and another action step for you, 5 days a week, 20 minutes, clear your clutter. Spend just a little time. Even if it's just doing dishes, you'll feel so much better and you open up the energy. And then the third prong to that foundation, 2020 foundation, is that journaling exercise that we talked about. So over time, when you do this, you change. You are a different person. So I had a client that came to me, Julie Buckles, and she was a writer who wasn't writing. She and her boyfriend at the time had paddled a canoe from northern Wisconsin on Lake Superior into Canada. And they lived there for, I think, a year. And then they paddled back, or the whole trip took a year. And so she had a manuscript about this amazing adventure. And it had been sitting on her desk in limbo for years. So she reluctantly joined one of my January programs because this isn't her kind of thing. She said, I'm not a self-help, touchy-feely kind of person, but I'm stuck. I'm in a rut. So she was willing to get out of her comfort zone. And that's another key thing for us when we're stuck. We have to get out of our comfort zone. We have to take that next step. She followed the process, and then we had coaching sessions, and she worked her way through the book. And by the end of the 90 days, she had a publisher. She had lost 17 pounds, and she was so happy. So she continues to do amazing things. She now owns a bookstore. So that, again, is tying into her passion. That big adventure she was able to capture in a book. And her website is her name, juliebuckles.com. So I'm sure the book is there. And she tells me that she goes back to this simple process to kind of reset herself. And right now, I think a lot of us, we have the opportunity to reset during this time. So it's a good time to explore these things.
Yeah, I was thinking like certainly right now we have that's an hour, right? 2020. So in the year 2020, we needed this right now.
I didn't think about that, but it's true.
So true.
And I will say, I never got hung up on if people, did 10 minutes or 20 minutes. But in the journaling part, if you do the 5-minute sprint, it'll only take you 6-7 minutes to do it. Yeah. So the idea is just to really be mindful and start paying attention to what's working, what's not. What do you want to change right now? I think this is a year for us to look at where we are and where we want to be. What needs to be changed in our lives? What do we want to shake up?
Absolutely. So I had two big things that are coming to me is the one that, so the first one is growth, like you're speaking on change. So a lot of us, we're thinking, and I used to think this, like, I just need to find my purpose. I just need to find my passion. Like, that's it. And then we have this idea that we're set for the rest of our life, right? Like that's how we're going to be. We found it, and now we're just going to cruise life doing that one thing. And that is not the case, right? So what I'm finding and what I hear you saying is like, we're growers, right? We're if we're growing, like that's it. If we're not, we're dying. Like we have to always be growing. And so your passions can change, right? Your passions will change, and that's good. And if we are allowing that space to, okay, 5 years I do this, 5 days I do this, Like if we're being mindful and we're open, we're flowing to it. We're flowing through different things. We're writing books, we're doing cards, we're doing like you're saying, like it just kind of happens. But all of it is good as long as we are feeling good through that process, right? Then it's right,
Yes.
right? Oh, I love
Well,
this.
and I think an important thing is to put play into it. So some of the challenges with finding passion or living your passion is, well, I was raised to work hard, and that's the energy that I brought to the table. And I would work and work and work and over deliver, and I would be exhausted by the end of it. And it just wasn't sustainable. And I know a lot of the viewers, listeners will relate to this. So we're hard on ourselves because there's always more to do, and we keep getting into that nose to the grindstone. And the key here to shift your energy is to really look at that belief that you have to work hard. Is that true? I can tell you, I'm out of that now, and it is a limiting belief that's not serving you. So what if you gave yourself permission to have some fun and to flow with your energy? So this is one of the things that happened after my parents passed. They passed 11 months apart. Um, I brought play into all of my coaching. And so I say to people, this is a playful incubator. Let's just see what happens. Don't worry about it. And it gives people permission to lighten up, relax, explore, and amazing things happen. So heal that limiting belief. We don't need that. Um, get back to where did that come from? I know it came from my parents, and that's how, they were depression era people. They were trying to protect their children and make sure that they were safe and secure in their lives. But it's a different world. So that, for me especially, just did not work. So that's one of the barriers to finding and living your passion.
Yeah, is to
Yeah.
release that limiting belief.
Barriers. Another one that comes up, and again, I have done all of these. So is scattered energy. So we think that we are focusing our energy on our passions, but we might be putting a little here and a little bit there and a little bit there, and in the end, we're dispersing all of that, and the law of the universe, scattered energy gets scattered results. So the solution here is to really root into who you are, and to, to amp up that playful, focused energy. We talked about your vibration, so keep that vibration happy, light, and then there are ways to flip it immediately. I mean, one way that I love to do and teach is have people journal. Wouldn't it be nice? Wouldn't it be nice if I felt lighter? Wouldn't it be nice if this was easy? Wouldn't it be nice if I aligned with the right people? Wouldn't it be nice if blah blah blah, whatever it is? So I had a workshop last Friday, and we did that exercise, and it immediately flipped the the stressful energy that people were feeling because of the world environment right now. So
Yeah.
that's really important to do. That is, sometimes I would do many things because I was good at them, and maybe I would want to do this, but when I let go of some of them and really focused on creativity and coaching, things took off then. And I feel very aligned, and of course I do all of the other passionate things in my free time. And
oh,
another
this is
thing,
so good.
one more thing, I could keep
Yeah.
going, sorry, is we sometimes think if we don't do it now, we won't have a chance to ever do it again. Um, or we have all these ideas, and where do we focus our energy? And so again, that's coming from that lack mentality. And there's always enough. You are good enough. There, you can have a journal, keep a journal, and jot down all your ideas because not all of them are meant to be acted on right now. So the key to shifting this is to think about some of your ideas and which one is calling to you right now? Which do you really want to focus on? And what if you just spent a little bit of time on that? When I started creating these inspiration cards, I'll show you another one. This one is all about play. It's like, kind of like Dr. Seuss. Um, but when I started playing with these, wow, things just flew, and time flew, and things flowed, and that is an indication that you are in your passion zone when you look up and 2 hours have passed.
Oh, this is so good. You guys,
Yeah.
I am taking like notes. Remember, I'm all about that pen and paper, you guys, because even though you can replay and replay this,
I,
notes.
yes, I love white paper, blue pen. I
Yep.
learned that it activates your subconscious in a different way, helps fire neural pathways in a different way. Um, so I do that. I like to do that.
Yes, you guys, she is just giving tons of amazing information and they're simple, but in these simple tasks and these tips and words is gold. Powerful, powerful information just being like spewed and shared here. So I
Yeah.
kind of want to recap here because I can feel that person that we're all right there with you. This is innate. We feel it. These are powerful truths. But speaking to that person that maybe they're in a relationship they're stuck in, right? Maybe they're like, I don't want to be here anymore, or I don't want to be at this job anymore. I'm stuck here, but now I'm dependent upon the income. I'm dependent upon the healthcare benefits, blah, blah, blah. These different things. Are you saying, Leslie, because this is what I'm picking up, that it doesn't matter where we're at right now. If we can just implement these strategies, the 5 minute sprint, the 20 20 20, these things that as we start doing this, we're going to start feeling unstuck no matter where we're at. Or we're going to start loosening up. Yeah, we might be in a crappy relationship or a crappy job, something like this. But as we start moving that energy, can we begin to change and shift the relationship, the job, and like, can this happen as we just start with these little things?
Yes, and these little things are really big. They're big. And when you change, the relationship will change. When you change and recognize that your job is not feeding you, then you can begin exploring. I remember last year I was coaching someone. I coached a lot of women looking at retirement and doing something different. And this woman had an amazing job and satisfaction, but she had outgrown it. So what works for us for a long time, after a while, we change and we need something different. We are growth seekers. So she wanted to explore, how do I get out of this job? And so we looked at, is it really the job that you want to get out of? Let's look at the job. Can you reframe the job? What is it about the job that's giving you energy? Why are you still there? And so looking at things in a different way, and some of the simple steps lead to the deep dive into, where am I? What's going on with this relationship? Is this how I want to spend the rest of my life? Not always comfortable conversations with yourself, but um, we need to be aligned.
We do. We need to take those dives in the uncomfort zone. We have to be able to get a little bit uncomfortable. That's change, that's expansion, but it's also growth and happiness. And so we got to.
And I think it is reassuring to know that we've all been through this, and think about a time when you've been through it and you've moved forward in a different way. So we can do it. Go back to a time when you you were stuck and you figured out how to move forward, and tap into that accomplishment, and know that you can do it.
Oh, I love it. That builds our confidence, you guys. I've done that too. And when we're in a between a rock and a hard place, that stuck place, we can think about, ah, man, we've been here before. We've been here time and time again. And you know what? It worked out. Like somehow we got out of it, and it builds that confidence and it makes us say, all right, let's figure this out. Let's go in and ask that question. Like you said earlier, tying it full circle, just stop for a second and ask, what can I do? Why am I feeling this? Or whatever, just ask that intimate question to yourself and you'll get the answer.
Yes, you will. And when you journal, you will get the answer. If you flow and trust and don't edit yourself, you will get the answer, and you'll get it quickly. Another thing, this makes me think about fear, and that can stop us in our tracks as well. And so, journaling with fear is another important piece. Just ask, starting with create your own sentence prompt at the beginning. Why am I afraid? Or what am I afraid of? And get in touch with that.
Because you'll get that answer. And you guys, and I don't know if you've experienced this, Leslie, but when you ask that question, what am I afraid of? And it's usually monstrous, like it's Goliath in the brain, right? I don't want to change careers, whatever, because I'll go hungry, I'll go broke, like all these different things. They seem massive in the brain. And then when you get it out and you journal it on paper, you size it up. It gets super small. Like you're like, oh, this thing really won't happen, or or I'll know what to do if that does happen. But getting it out is so important and so powerful. It seems small or silly, you guys, but trying that, get that fear, ask, what am I afraid of, and write it down. You'll see it's not that big. I
Spend
mean,
5 minutes with that fear, and you don't want to be stuck in the vortex of doubt and fear. And so some of these simple exercises will help you move beyond that.
this is so good. I hope you guys are taking notes, because I'm trying to recap these beautiful things. Just the movement, the clearing clutter. The journaling down, the asking your source, yourself, these questions, playing to break those barriers. If you look at our kids, if we remember ourselves, what do we do? Right? We were playing all the time. We were playing and we were in the moment and everything worked out for us. And, then we lost that along the way, and that's why we're here feeling stuck. But Leslie's saying we go back and play again. Go back and have a little fun, right? And you'll remember it and you'll break through those barriers, all those limiting beliefs and scattered energy. You come right into focus by
Yes.
doing nothing. It sounds so counterproductive. Doesn't it sound so silly? Like we're so hardwired to work hard and to
Yes.
get these degrees and all this stuff. But really, it's like, really, no. Come in for a moment. Let it all go. Let the universe do its job. We'll do the next step. Just have fun. Lighten up a bit.
That is a big part of it. Our accomplishments, our experiences are important as well when we're tapping into our passions. So if you got a degree, if you got that advanced certification, think about that. What did you get out of that? What does that, how is that impacting what you're doing right now? So I have a master's degree in mass communication, and I remember juggling 2 young kids and my job as art director at a college, and having to drive an hour for my classes and wondering, why am I doing this? But it set me up for following my passion. So uh, writing, connecting with people, listening to people's stories. Even now, I am doing feature stories for Interlochen Public Radio. So those skills that I learned way back when I graduated with my master's in 1997. So I'm using those skills again. And that's because they are passionate for me. Knowing other people's stories means something to me. So think about your experiences and what you learned, what brought you that satisfaction, and how that might be unfolding in your life today.
Oh, that's so good. That leads into like nothing, don't regret anything because your whole journey was divine. Every single thing, the job you stayed in, I was at a job for almost 12 years and I wasn't happy there, but when I think about it now, oh, I learned so much. I learned so much through that, through myself and my skill set. So every single thing you've ever done was purposeful. It really was. It was divine to your journey, right? We're just getting better. We're just having more fun.
Adding to it. And then I would encourage people to think about, what is their style? What's their personality? So, what makes you uniquely you? What do other people see in you? Yeah, and think about if you're working on a project, so there's a leader, someone who has that big vision. So is that you? Do you have those skills, or are you the promoter of that? And you'll see how these are all working together, and we need every one of these skills on a team. So are you promoting it? Are you sharing the enthusiasm about it, getting the word out? Are you a supporter, helping with behind the scenes, all those details that have to
Yeah.
happen? Or are you kind of a research person who also that needs to happen to make initiatives
Yep.
work? So what's your style? What's your personality? Just jot this down. And this comes into your passion as well.
Mm.
Who you are, uniquely you. And that's
Oh,
important.
this is so good. This kind of leads you into your gift right now because you guys, I took advantage of this gift already. And it's in the link to this email. You got where this email for this video was. Her link is there as well to her free gift. And Leslie, can you just explain a little bit more what are people getting for it's for free? And this is mind-blowing. I love her processes. Like dive into it. You're going to explain it better than me, but Leslie, what is this about?
So the free gift is 5 steps to create what matters most now, and uh, yeah, it's a bunch of it's videos and it's play sheets and it's all about soulful exploration. So getting clear on committing to you and exploring the process and looking at your core values. I mean, we have to be totally aligned as we are going to express ourselves. So I have a fun play sheet. You notice I call everything play sheet. It's not a worksheet, it's play sheet. So you'll go through that and explore that, and um, you'll look at what has given you satisfaction in the past. You'll look at where you've been stuck, and I call these your gremlins. And so we all have gremlins they show up, and mine I see as like the Wicked Witch of the West, and she'll show up and say, "You can't do that. It's too big. What are you doing? You can't. It's too big." and and in my head, I throw a bucket of water on her and melt her. But your gremlins are there just to help you. They're trying to protect you. And so I have a couple of play sheets around your gremlin, because that's the barrier. If you get clear on what your passion and purpose is, but you're stopped by your gremlins,
Mm.
that's a problem.
Yep.
So we take a deep dive, and then I think I end with a video about leading yourself. We have to lead ourselves. We have to take the next step. Um, I I show some of my techniques that I use. Sometimes, I'm not doing this today, but when I was first getting into doing public speaking, I would hold a rock to ground myself. That would help me lead and get my message out and deliver. So I just have some other suggestions, energy suggestions, so that you can get in the flow and start living your passion and purpose, and so that you can bloom. We're all here for a reason. We are all meant to rise and to bloom. And I guess that's my purpose, is helping people find their truth and step into that.
That is so perfect. This is perfect, you guys. You heard it here. This is the recipe for getting unstuck and pursuing and finding that passion. And you get it right here, Leslie. It's phenomenal. I highly recommend you guys download that sheet. Start there. Start there. It's wholesome. It encompasses from the beginning of our conversation day down to the end on how to actually do this. It's something I believe you'll use every day of your life for the rest of your life. Like it'll be something in one of those play sheets, something in something that we talked today that you're going to remember and we will use to embody our happiness, to live our passion and purpose. Thank you so much, Leslie, for all of this gold and transformation. Oh,
Thank you
so much
so
happiness.
Thank you so much. I am honored to be part of it, and I am so grateful for you for the invitation and for creating the summit. Talk about fulfilling your passion and purpose and impacting thousands and thousands and thousands of people.
Thank you so much. Thank you. You guys just, and I didn't know I was going to do this either, you guys. So I'm saying everything we said today is real. Like it'll just unfold naturally on its own and we'll just keep going. I'm very proud of everyone who tuned in because we actually went almost an hour today. So thank you guys. I value your time. And if you love this vital ingredients, you're going to love the next show as well. Keep smiling and I'll see you guys soon.